Trust, because obviously there's a lot of conversations around that. So maybe we stick a bit longer on that, and maybe you can unpack the problem a bit bigger. We obviously see that from a brand to influencers, influencers to brands. How does the customer come into play?
So the customer today, especially in online methods, either have to go directly to a brand that has to advertise heavily in order to attract them and interact with them directly, and that's at a high cost to the brand, or they go to a marketplace, Amazon or eBay or others to name a few, and that's where they see lots of brands, and it really becomes more or less a pricing war. And clearly the brands are not the beneficiaries of that because customers get swayed by small, tiny brands that you never heard of, that don't have a lot of brand equity. And in that sense, I got to get taken away. And not only that, out of all this interaction, the brand doesn't even get, even if they drive a conversion, a purchase, they don't even get all the data from that interaction. It is the marketplace that gets the data in order to feed the algorithms to put the right merchandise in front of you. So that's what happens to the customer. They don't have a direct contact with the brand. They don't feel their passion and love that many people have for brands, and are just essentially a data point, a transaction data.
Yeah, and this data issue can't be underestimated because essentially the data belongs to the customer. And at the moment, what happens is the customer is giving that data away to the platform that then sells it back to the brand, right? So the customer is not only losing their data, the brand has to pay for the privilege. Whereas in our model, what we envisage is that the customer can directly negotiate with the brand and say, here is my data, and what are you going to give me in return in terms of a better deal, better services, product innovation, loyalty schemes, and actually give a monetary value to all that data that's currently being basically absorbed by the platforms, and no one else in the system gets rewarded for that data. Additionally, if the customer doesn't want to provide that data, they get the choice about how much data they do share. Obviously, they won't get as big an incentive if they're not comfortable sharing data, and that's great and that's cool because it's empowering the customer, and giving a direct deal for the brand to really understand what their customers want and how far they can work with their customer on building their next generation of products and innovations. So it seems like it's quite an issue that is only in favor of necessarily the brand, but actually the customer really should be the beneficiary of this data and the ability to use Web3 to monetize their data. So that's a really important factor in re-establishing this trust, because when in that system, and it doesn't mean platforms can't be trusted and can't have a role in the data, it's just this whole system where the platform is only able to monetize the data and then recharge for the use of that data via products like AdWords. So that brands have to buy the AdWords to promote their product via another platform. That model is essentially recast using a direct relationship with the consumer, and trust is the output for the customer.